Thank you everybody for coming. Today we're going to have our third episode of the Meet the Manufacturers webinar series. And today we're joined by the people at Fanvil. So I hope that all of you are very excited for this event. Later on, we will have, in just a moment, we will have a presentation by them, and we will get to know a little bit more about their company and the devices that they offer. So prior to moving on to their side, let's get to see our side. So today we're going to be doing the Meet Fanvil presentation. We are joined by Mr. Tommy Lee, Vice President of Sales North America for Fanvil, and myself, Joseph Montes, Channel Manager for VitalPBX. So I hope that all of you are quite excited for today's presentation. But first, let's talk a little bit about our provisioning add-on module. So once again, if you haven't been to one of these episodes, let me talk to you about the new phone provisioning add-on module. This phone provisioning add-on module replaces the old endpoint manager. So any new brands, models of devices will be added to this new phone provisioning add-on module. This phone provisioning module will have more phone brands and more models. It has a more intuitive design, a better customization experience, and multi-tenant capable. So here on this module, you are able to not only assign the different DSS keys or do some of the various configurations for the devices. You have access to the full configuration file, so you can. So if you know your configuration file and want to do something quite specific for your device, you're able to go directly to that file and make any customizations there as needed. And multi-tenant capable means that you can, if you're on a multi-tenant environment, you can allow your different tenants to have their own capabilities to provision their own phones, or you can manage the provisioning of different tenants directly from one centralized place. And it gets better with every update. So you are able to add. We were able to add more features to this add-on module as we move on, similar to all other VitalPBX applications and add-ons that we offer. We are constantly updating and upgrading them accordingly. On this presentation for today, we're not going to go into the technical stuff. If you would like to see a video with a step-by-step guide on how to use the new provisioning add-on module, you can watch that on our YouTube channel. We uploaded that last week, so you will be able to follow that guide onto how to use the full provisioning add-on module. Now, let's just talk briefly about the pricing. So the add-on module runs for $250 in a one-time payment. So this is one-time payment, and you can for one server, and you can provision as many devices as you require. But if you are one of the subscribers for our licensing plans, you will be able to have it already included. So if you have any one of our plans, even enterprise, carrier, call center, carrier plus CC, all of our plans already include this module as part of their licensing. So you will be able to use that. And now for today, we're going to hear more about Fanvil, with which we have worked together, and we have collaborated to add their devices, and we have had quite a few customers as well help us with testing with the different devices. So we appreciate all of your aid with your feedback during the beta period of this add-on module. And I know that this line of devices was one that a lot of you were excited to have included. So give me 1 second as I give access to Mr. Tommy Lee. Okay, so let's now give a round of applause to Mr. Tommy Lee.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Joseph. Welcome aboard, everybody. I want to thank you very much for your valued time. My name is Tommy Lee. As Joseph mentioned earlier, I'm the VP of Sales. What I'd like to focus in on is how we differentiate against a lot of our competitors out there. We understand that there's many endpoints that you can choose, and I want to sort of summarize to you on how Fanvil differs from all of the other people that will provide you with a wide band of solutions that you can go ahead and bring to the marketplace. First off, I'm also here based in the States. I'm out of California. And beyond myself, we also have a local SE that's based on the East Coast as well. His name is Hector, and he's actually based on the East Coast. So one differentiating factor is that Fanvil has actually staff on base so that if you have any problems, in the most cases, when you use the VitalPBX provisioning tool, everything should be straightforward. But in every case, when you're just kind of spinning up, there are always going to be questions. So not only could you ask them, but we're also available here to provide you with that assistance. So we're going to go over really our IP phone series, our iSolutions, and our PA2 broadcast solutions, which is a little different. Let me just go ahead and give you a quick agenda as we move forward. I just have one slide that's just going to give you a quick overview about what Fanvil is. And then beyond that, I'm just going to go over a quick overview. This is not going to be a deep dive and going over the details. I'm sure that many people out there are already familiar, but I'm just going to concentrate on really some of the, not only the leading events of which we've done all the provisioning with the IP phones, but also how you can expand your solution offering by being able to provide intercom systems and door access as security. And as well, you know, I'll show you a toolbox that we can do that provides you with resources and samples on where you can find these tools. And again, I don't expect you to have a memory of an elephant, but if you do forget, you can always contact myself in case you have any questions moving forward. So with that said, and to maximize your time, I just want to give you a quick overview on the different solutions that we provide. Again, much of the effort that VitalPBX and Fanvil have done is really being able to allow you to provision our business phones as well as our hospitality phones. On the top row, you can really divide our solutions into three separate categories. Our big series here is our business phones here. And the good news about our business phones is that you'll find that all of our series phones all offer color, all offer provided a lot of differentiation. I'm going to get into that as well. But beyond just business phones, we also have H-series phones as well. And on the H-series phones, we provide very thin, narrow phones that you could provide for the bathroom or whatever home environment that you may need a 2-SIP line phone. This is the H2U. And we also have H5 and H3 series, which classically fit into hospitality, but you could, again, fit these phones wherever you want to. Expanding beyond just the phones, we also have some what I call certain gateway type of endpoints. Now, keep in mind, all the products that you see in front of you are SIP endpoints. So basically, you know, although they may not necessarily appear in terms of the intercom on the provisioning tool, these are SIP end devices, which then allow you to probably put a gateway in front of the gate to allow you with door access, intercoms, even being able to provide indoor security and stations. And so, you know, coupling all these together, we also have sort of a management tool here that allows you to sort of monitor how these function, how these devices operate from one single location. Again, these are things that we can provide. So you can actually use VitalPBX's thing to provision, and you can use ours in cases if you want to monitor how these devices all from a central location, and it's all basically done on a cloud-based solution. And we provide that free of charge. So why don't we do that to the hospitality units where we actually have the H2U white and black. Both of these are really what we call narrowband phones, although from a hospitality perspective, These things really fit well in sort of the auxiliary rooms where you want to add one, but we've also found a big growth in just general people that don't want to have a lot of clutter in their homes, that want to provide a narrowband SIP2 endpoints that will give you speakerphone and everything else. The H3 here, which is also available in white and black, is your classic hotel when you walk in and you have the classic face and template. You can work with us directly, and you can actually have the hotel logos and everything get put right on that. We actually include that as part of the price for the actual phone themselves, and we provide it in 2 separate colors. We also have these phones, H3 and H5, that actually have Wi-Fi integrated within them as well. So we have the H3W and the H5W, which is great because not every hospitality has the cables running, and you can actually take care of their Wi-Fi, connect through their Wi-Fi if that's the case. And the unique thing here is that we actually have a soft phone. So as you know, for many people who stayed in hotels, they actually stay in the hotel and they actually have a hard template. What this does is this allows you to provide a soft template, so you can buy one model phone, and once you be able to put these things in, you can configure these phones to fit on any property moving forward. Now, getting beyond the hospitality, what I want to do is really focus in on what we have as the core units. The core units we have really is rounded down into 4 separate SKUs. And we say it's all inclusive. And the reason why they're all inclusive is because it basically includes GigE, Color, PoE, Opus, discrete SIP, BLF key displays are all supported on all 3 of these models, ranging everywhere from the basic model from the X3U all the way going up to the different models from the X4U, 5U, and 6U, which adds different features. We find that very often people get confused by having too many part numbers that list too many different features. Well, what this does is you don't have to worry about these features. It supports them all, and we round it down to really what you want to do. If you have basically a basic line phone, you can offer a color screen with SIP 6 keys and 3 line keys. And as you move up to the 4U, we offer the ability to offer 30 DSS keys, because not only do you find the BLF keys here, you also have different windows here that gives you the capability of going through separate windows. The great news about this design from the 4, 5, and 6 moving forward, or from differentiation standpoint, is that most other designs, you can actually monitor the different SIP lines left of the display here and all of these screens, whereas you can toggle all the different SIP lines while preserving all of the BLF keys. And many competitive designs, the more SIP keys you add, the more BLF keys you take away from the front-facing phone. And this is really a unique design that we like to bring in. When you move up to the X5U and X6U, you begin to add on things like including Bluetooth capability as well as a larger screen. And on the X6U, this really gives you the ability to add 60 keys because we double the size here, giving you far-reaching pieces here with all of these keys on the right-hand side. Another nice feature is that, as you know, we have people that are moving out of the business on the old analog and proprietary digital that removed it, but their design looks very similar to the design here, so that your client doesn't necessarily have to go through a lot of learning process to really how to operate a brand new phone. So these are all a lot of differentiators that we bring into the marketplace. So what are the differentiators there are? We outlined earlier about the different SIP accounts, so you can manage all the different SIP lines, the part keys up here, where you can keep the BLF and SIP dial keys down here separately. Another idea is being able to add a 2-year warranty. Many of our competitors out there support a 1-year warranty. We provide 2, so by the time you get it, that's when the clock starts ticking, and should anything fall wrong with the specifications on our phone, you can work with our distribution partners to be able to bring this thing into the marketplace. Another differentiator is that we also upgraded to Harman speakers, which gives you the capability of improved speaker sound quality. And beyond that, we have custom branding, which is something very interesting. For those people that want to provide, instead of marketing the Fanvil name, we also have custom branding, which you can market your own company name in front of customers rather than having Fanvil. So we have 2 different phone designs that really, one, we provide generic that you can provide a phone key, and provide that additional differentiation that you could bring into the marketplace. Here's a quick idea on the slides on how you can market your own logo versus our logo. where you can actually have this phone template. So we have a neutral brand phone, which you can actually bring this template that looks like this, that you can actually market your name here on top of the phone. And this is available on all of the XU series. And the typical models that we have is usually 200 units minimum per model. Now, we have some partners out there that might lower this, but I don't want to get into the details. But typically, this is where you would need to kind of get in to sort of be able to put your company name on our phones, and we don't charge extra for this device either. If you're able to do this, we can provide you with the additional bezel so that you can provide that level of flexibility on all our XU phones. In addition to that, all of our external cartons, as well as the internal labeling, will also be done via like a generic name, so that Fanvil wouldn't even show up. So it really becomes your phone that you bring into the marketplace. Outside of the XU marketplace, we also have the X7 series. Many people like big displays because they might want to display a larger screen or something. We have the X7 series, which provides a touchscreen phone here and lots of capabilities here. But we realize that people with touchscreen, you either love it or you hate it. And the good news is that we developed two models that cater to both sides. So if you hate touchscreens, we actually lower the display a little bit here that give the same basic phone with buttons instead. I personally like buttons because I'm kind of old school that case, but if you like touchscreen, we have a model that fits both your ways. And then this X7A is really the Android version of this phone. And why Android? Because if you have the capability of wanting to integrate things like, Zoom or Skype onto the phone, this is something that you're capable of doing, being able to add here, besides possibly adding a third-party Android application onto this phone so that you can run that in addition to all of these different, SIP-based keys that you see on your left-hand side. Here's just a little bit of an explanation on the type of features that we have. Not only do we put in the Harman speakers, but we provide things like 20 SIP lines, three-way conference calls, included Bluetooth, and everything else like that, all included into one package. And it's available both on the touchscreen as well as the button version moving forward. Again, I'm not going to go over all these features because everything that you would expect on these phones is something that you will actually get on the X7 series moving forward. Now let's talk about the specialty IP phones. I talked about the X3U. Let's talk about the X3SG. Now, we realize that there are many people out there that are probably more price-driven than anything else. If the X3U happens to be a little bit too on the high price, we could address those value-driven clients with the X3SG. We also provide a color-based unit here without necessarily the added side keys, which gives you a little bit more of a 4 and 2 basic SIP line. This is something that we can provide as well. And it's also based on the provisioning tools that VitalPBX has also put together. One of our famous designs that we have here is the X210. This is really what we call our control or receptionist phone. And what we've done is really to add value to your solution base, because instead of having a sidecar to our phones, we decided to provide one phone that has the sidecar built into the phone. That's going to save you time in the field, because when you actually deploy these phones in the field, your value base is spending the least amount of time doing deployments. And when you actually have this, we actually integrated 2 sidecars on the phone, all in one unit. But not only do we do that, but we also have 3 separate windows, giving you really 106 DSS keys that you give access to, along with a whole slew of SIP control keys that you can control all the different SIP calls that you have coming into the phone. This really is a big time saver as well as a value saver, because typically, when you buy a sidecar, you don't have to buy a high-end phone to couple with that sidecar. And typically, the combination of those 2 solutions costs more than having this entire thing in one unit itself. Then, of course, we have some of the out of the usual. People get sick of black phones all the time, so we actually have an X5U red. The only difference is really the plastics, and we're shocked at how many people actually enjoy having a different color phone in the marketplace. But that's something that we actually bring into the market that we can do. Again, this just gives you a little bit of a deeper view into all of the different features that we have. Very similar to our X7 series, it gives you all of the main features that you want with 20 SIP lines moving forward. Okay. Now we'll just talk about the SIP endpoint units. And this SIP endpoint unit is something that we have that really allows you to convert any analog interface into SIP. One of those cases, say if you wanted to upgrade a business park or a hotel that has a parking solution, or even the elevator. These things are typically connected with an analog interface. And then what you can do is you can use the PA2 to really convert this analog interface into SIP. So you could assign an extension onto here, which now you could sort of assign an extension and really convert things from parking meters. And we also have specific things where you can add cameras, push buttons, and things like that give you the capability of retrofitting the existing analog interface into SIP. Again, I'm not going to go into a deep dive here, but this gives you the overview of the different solutions that we have. Then, of course, as a paging unit, you have school units here, which have a paging system that are fully working, that are hanging on the ceiling with operational amps. You don't need to go ahead and change those. You can actually put this to really drive PA systems based on an extension that you can call, so that you could save yourself as well as a client lots of money in being able to put together that solution. Beyond doing that, it also provides multicast addressing. This is not meant to be technical at all, but you can hook this up into a VitalPBX solution and provide multicasting throughout all of the different solutions, so that you could drive a PA, drive a single speaker solution, or what you could do is have separate endpoints that are listening into this multicast IP address, so that they can listen to whatever speaker system that you do, all done with the PAX system that we have. Now let's just dive into the intercom systems. This is another solution that you can provide. Many people actually have an access unit in their building. And you can provide anything that provides door access, which supports RFID or key fobs. Or you could have a simple thing like door phones and intercoms. You can have one or two buttons that actually provide just intercom. We do both indoor units, industrial, as well as hard rugged outdoor units, so that if it handles high humidity and rain and snow, we have units that fit in all of those different units on the outside. Coupling the outside units, we also have units that you can fit on the inside as well. So as opposed to having a phone, we actually have a flat screen, 2 SIP IP phones that you can actually put into the indoor unit, where you can actually see who's at the front door to see whether it's the postal person. Let them go in, and you can actually push a button here. And I know that in places like in Miami, where you have a lot of high-rise buildings, you could have this and just answer the door, see who it is, and you can click on this button and see who's at the door before you provide entryway. And we have several different models that provide the simple solution here. And we also have a touch screen, which gives you the capability of providing, additional calls if that's what you need to do. And this is something that we can provide. All these are based on SIP. And this last piece here, the i56A, is an Android-based solution, which is great. Not only is it mountable on walls, but you also have a desktop solution where this can actually operate as a 2 SIP line phone that you can mount on your SIP desktop, and it includes Wi-Fi integrated into here. So you could actually buy this unit, hook it into your Wi-Fi system, and have really a system that you can run right off the top, mounted on your wall or on your desktop on a flat screen. This is just my contact information here for your reference. You can contact me or provide a local contact support with Hector Zarita. He's actually based on the East Coast time, and you can reach out to him if you have any technical support. And beyond the support, why Fanvil? We have local support capabilities, local management tools that you can do. And actually, we're dedicated to support any SIP endpoint, which is really what VitalPBX does, and providing a whole slew of SIP endpoints that you can provide to address different marketplaces. So with that said, we actually have last slide, the demo program. We actually have an ability for you to talk to our distribution channel and be able to get access to our phones or our indoor units to really test drive at a one-time only price. So that's something you can reference. If you want a copy of this, send me a note, or send Joseph a note. He'll be more than happy to forward to me, and we can take it from there. Joseph, that's all that I have for now, and I'll pass the floor back on to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Mr. Lee. We appreciate your time today with regards to giving us this very detailed presentation about the Fanvil products, and we are very glad that we were able to collaborate throughout this process to add more devices, more of your Fanvil devices into the phone provisioning aspect of VitalPBX. Once again, thank you very much. So I will give you a round of applause from my side, just so since we cannot hear the applauses from the audience here.
Great.
At this moment, we will go ahead and move through a Q&A section. So if you want to ask us any questions, right now on the live event, on the upper right-hand corner, well, your right, my left, you will see a two-speech bubble icon with a question mark in the middle. That will be the Q&A section. There you will be able to post any questions that you might have, and we will answer them live here. So let me go ahead and see if we have any questions at the moment. Okay, the first one that we have here is PoE phones. Do they come with their power supply, or do you have to buy it separately?
Yeah, all of the PoE phones, about maybe 4 years ago, we used to include the power supplies until we found out that after visiting the reps, PoE switches have become so popular that right now, as of today, the power supplies are separate. So we have two power supplies, a 501 amp and a 2 amp, that you have to buy separately from these phones. So yeah, they have to be bought separately.
Okay, perfect. That's very good to know. You never want to get some surprises when you place your order. Next up, well, we have like 3 questions in one block. So the first question here is Android version for the Android devices. Do you have that information? What Android version do the Android devices have?
Oh, yes, I do. The Android version, that's a great question. The Android version that it comes out with is Android 9.0. And that's a great feature because many of the Android APK apps that are out there require version 8 and above. So we're coming out with 9, so you should be covered for a great distance in terms of the Android versions moving forward. So it's Android 9.0.
Okay, perfect. Then he asks, well, they ask the QoS support. Do the devices present the support for QoS?
Yes, in fact, you know, when it comes to these things, I mean, it's a combination of both this phone and the router. So you could set up this way so that most of the QoS is actually controlled via the routers and switches in your house, because then you could assign specific IP addresses with a higher level of priority. So in the case if you're doing voice or whatever, but these things do go into networks that are QoS enabled that prioritize voice, and that you can actually identify specific static or dynamic IP addresses that you allocate for voice, and then you can actually increase the priority of audio as well as video, for that matter, onto these phones. So speaking a little bit about video, we also have the ability to also see video on the X6U as well as the X7s under VGA quality, which is about 30 frames per second. So that'll give you a really clear video in case you actually want to go ahead and monitor any of the door access devices with video cameras, which is a nice feature.
Perfect. And now the third question that they have is on this specific block is layer 2 or layer 3, and is the PC port 1 gig?
Yes, all of the PC ports are 1 gig. I'm not necessarily sure what you mean by layer 2 or layer 3. I think in terms of having the physical aspects, yeah, all of the different phones have basically a 1 gig to the phone, and as well as a 1 gig access port for your PC. In terms of the intercom systems, most of the door access systems has a physical Ethernet connection, so that you would just open it up and you can physically connect a PoE switch directly into it and route it no matter which way you want to do it. The only exception is that we have the i10 phones, which are really small. They're almost like a 4x4 intercom that includes video. In that case, you might have to splice up the PoE wires for you to fit those wires into it. But either way, they all kind of comply with the same switch application over IP.
Perfect. Perfect. All of that sounds very neat. And
Yep.
now we have a slew of questions from the same person. They have separated them in different sections, so let me go through them.
No problem.
Well, the first one is the very interesting questions. Are there any plans to integrate the native Fanvil hot desking with VitalPBX, or is there an online document where we can understand the implementation? Starting from VitalPBX side, we have not developed the solution to work with the Fanvil hot desking directly. This will be just the provisioning of the of the um, of the lines and configurations for the phone itself. We might look into the future of the provisioning add-on module to add more features such as this one, which is very interesting to have all of your phones configuration change depending on which hot desking extension that you have on that device. That is a very interesting process, but at this moment, we're just concentrating on including the general configurations for every brand and model. And then afterwards, as I mentioned, this new phone provisioning is where we're going to evolve and add more features in the future. So you can expect features such as this one in future releases. We do not have a date, and we will keep in touch with Mr. Lee and his team to be able to add this type of feature to the phone provisioning add-on module.
Yeah, if I could add on to that, in terms of the hot desking is concerned, I think you're talking about adding multiple SIP lines because that's what Fanvil phones do. Like in the case of if you wanted to work out of your home, for example, if you dial up one extension, you can actually have that phone sort of be the quote unquote SIP hot desk to be able to ring other phones as well within your home or within your office so that any phones that pick up initially, that will automatically be able to be hooked into that line. So you can use the VitalPBX for provisioning the phones, and you can just do some button configuration to set up a hot desk network remotely wherever it's necessary.
All of that sounds quite sound. And as I mentioned, yeah, if there are any new features or any specific features that some of the phone devices can provide, and we are, as you can see, we are very quite in touch with the different manufacturers now, and if anything comes, suggestions, feature requests from the general VitalPBX users, we would be able to speak with the manufacturers directly. In this case, we will stay in touch with Fanvil for further productivity. If they bring out new models or new features to their devices, we would be able to have them part of the VitalPBX provisioning solution. Okay, so the next question would be, let me see if I can redact this. So it says same question for XML applications on the phone to control follow me, etc. I'm personally not quite familiar with doing the XML applications, but from VitalPBX side, since you have control over the configuration file, you would be able to pass on any type of configurations there. If there's additional XML files that you would need to pass on, that would be something that we could talk with the guys at Fanvil and see if that's needed.
Correct. Yeah. In fact, the config file, which is something that VitalPBX puts together, you can control, everything from what color the lights go on and off. I mean, it really sets up the whole behavior of the phone. And once you have one sort of solid template that you have, you could then begin rolling that template out using their design just to go ahead and provision not one, but you could do 150 or 100 phones all at the same time. Coupling that, I also want everybody to know that we have all of the basic tools like redirection, so that if you're interested in doing out-of-the-box provisioning, you can actually set up a redirection server at the Fanvil site so that when you plug the phone in for the first time, it'll say, okay, I belong to this VitalPBX partner, and it'll forward it to whatever IP address server that you might end up using to provision our phones.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So hopefully that answers that question. Then we say, okay, so they're asking for exact documentation to work with video between Fanvil on VitalPBX. So we also found that video between Fanvil models on VitalPBX can be hard to configure. Can you guys please work on exact documentation? Sure, if you can. Well, in that case, I would suggest posting a ticket on our help desk to see what the issues might be with the configuration of video with regards to the Fanvil devices. That way, the correct team from the provisioning side, from the team that developed that provisioning module, will be able to assist you. Would there be any comments on a specific codecs, for example, Mr. Lee, that you would suggest when using Fanvil devices, or you?
Yeah, the classic one that we default to is really the H.264, which is the VGA codec. So not only it could actually take in almost any IP camera out there that actually has VGA support or any support. In fact, that is one of few different codecs that we support. So you can go into the phone, click it, and kind of see what it is. I mean, when you looked at the phones with all of the different buttons, some of the applications that our phone can go into is like security. So if they're interested in seeing who's at the front door or at the back gate, they can click a specific button and actually see, you know, on their existing camera who's actually back there, and assign a separate button to be able to allow them to come in through the gate or what have you. And if they don't have something like that, you could use one of our door access systems to be able to click off a relay so that you can then let them in. I mean, these are the different solutions that, if you're familiar with SIP, you could bring these type of things into the marketplace.
Perfect. So the next question, I believe that you will be able to answer, Mr. Lee. Is there any plans for cordless phones?
Yes. In fact, it is well beyond a whiteboard. I would say stay tuned. I don't have any release dates, but to the answer to your question is yes. We're going to come out with 2 different versions of cordless phones. And when you say cordless phones, I'm talking about the Snicker type bars. You know, they're kind of like these little narrow phones that you could bring with you. I would say stay in tune. We're about to probably formulate an announcement not too long in the future. So stay tuned. The answer is yes, but not today, but sometime in the short future, we're going to come out with one. And I think we're going to cover a lot of different technologies. There's DEC, there's Wi-Fi, there's lots of different solutions out there that provide you that capability. And we may cover one or perhaps both, who knows? But stay in tuned with us. You can connect with our social media so that when we come out and announce with it, you can get an idea on the different models that we have. But we're pretty excited on bringing those solutions out.
Perfect. So I would say that is a VitalPBX exclusive there.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question is, are all models listed on your website considered current and supported in Vital? So I would say yes. Most of the models that you have on your website would be supported in VitalPBX. You can see the exact list of devices that are on our provisioning module currently, as many more will come in the future with future updates, as we have been rolling out quite frequently recently. So yes, as long as they are SIP, they are supported in VitalPBX.
Correct. Yeah, you and I just passed the whole list, and I can verify that both the current XU series, the X7s, everything, including some of the legacy phones that we have, are all supported.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Now the next question, well, it's something that everybody, I think, is curious about. Is Mr. Tommy Lee the son of Mr. Tommy Lee Jones, the artist? I'm just curious, they say.
Oh, I'm actually more the cousin of Tommy Lee of Motley Crue, the heavy rock band guy, but that's okay. No, I'm very different. I'm kind of a nerdy Tommy Lee that deals a lot with too much telecommunications, but glad to do what I'm doing. You know, you meet a lot of very interesting people in this marketplace, and it's a very small world out there. So, but feel free to contact. For people who know Tommy Lee, just in case you want to reach me, it's tommy.lee, Lee, at fanvil.com. Pretty easy to remember if you think I'm the cousin of Tommy Lee Jones. So, you know, if I was a cousin, I probably wouldn't be selling telephones today.
That would be a given. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next question says, does the door phone have an API?
I wouldn't know if you had an API. I think, I don't know if we have an API for it. I mean, when you think about it, it has a configuration screen that is very similar to what a SIP phone is. So quite honestly, if you know how to program a SIP telephone, then you already know how to program a door phone, because a door phone, you don't have to deal with BLF keys, call parking. It really is a simplified solution. And you could actually, if you know how the config file works on that phone, what the door will do, some of the unique things is you can assign a local key. So say if you wanted to dial star 90 something to open a door, then you can actually program it to do whatever code that you want it to do. And that could just be done as a speed dial on a phone. But for the door phone, it could take that as the password to allow either remote or local access to open the door if you need to. Or you could program it that it can store RFID cards, you know, for up to like 5,000 employees. They can just pass it on so they don't even have to touch the keys. You know, if they're a verified employee or a resident, they can do that and allow them to get in automatically. So if you know how to program phones, you know how to program these keys, and we could put together a quick demo to you if that's something you're interested in.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it shouldn't be that complex since the device itself is a SIP device.
That's correct. You know, it's the same GUI. You know, in fact, if you were to look at the internal GUI of these intercoms, you wouldn't know whether you're looking at an intercom device or looking at a phone. So if you feel comfortable with the phone, then you're basically 95% there with the door access units.
Awesome. The next question is, will the X7A be available in the provisioning module? Yeah, basically yes. I just have to get in contact with Mr. Lee's team, and they will give us the information for this new model. There's no ETA on it, but yes, as models like this roll out, we are expanding the list of models that are supported on the provisioning module. Okay. The next question, it's a little bit more technical. I'm not quite familiar with the term, but maybe Mr. Lee is. What is the mean time before failure of Fanvil teams?
Sorry,
you meant equipment.
I mean, we strive far less than 1%. I mean, quite honestly, the mean time between failures, it varies based on the XU series. That's one of the reasons why we feel very comfortable in doubling the warranty that's out there, because quite honestly, you know, given our low failure rate is something that we can easily support. So, you know, that's what we do. And should something come up, we have basically, you know, partners that have local inventory that will take care of any of the specific needs that you might end up having. But the meantime failure, they've been very low for us. I mean, you know, we strive far less than 1% on all of the different shipments that we do to the marketplace.
Awesome. Okay, so here they are expanding a little bit of what they asked with regards to the API. They wanted to know if there was like a way that they can log each time the doorbell is rung with an external application.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, the actual phone, when you look at the logging, a lot of people already have an external database of which you can actually provide hooks into that database from our phone. So, not only will the intercom itself log people that go in and out, but if you already have an existing Oracle database, for example, you can actually provide links so that when it receives it, you can say you could store it locally or send it external, but it's not like this predefined API. It's one of those things where it can take that data of that person's RFID card and send it externally to a specific account or something like that. I don't know whether it's done by batch or whatever down to that level, but I do know that these intercom units or the access units can interface with existing databases. I just don't have the protocol off the top of my mind.
Interesting. Yeah, nowadays everybody's data craving and data is everything. So maybe that's where the question came up from.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they don't have it, the unit itself can actually log on the inputs and outputs. But I would say in half the cases, what they're doing is they want to add on some capabilities, but they already have a database that they want to use because they have the whole system set up for it. And I know that they've integrated our, access units to accommodate that. And so I don't know the bridges between the two, but I do know that it could be successfully done. But I could go ahead and speak with Hector and bring Hector online on a conference call to kind of give you a deeper dive, letting you know how that would actually work in your specific project.
Yeah, or in any case, they would be able to contact you directly and have that answered as well. So,
Absolutely.
So they can get a little bit more in depth with regards to that. Maybe organize some meetings or just an email thread where that can be
correct
added for. Then let's see. Well, somebody is reporting that the partner sign-up page is not working. We will have the web development team take a look into that. The next question is there an online document where we can see how Fanvil hot desking works?
Yeah, in fact, here's a funny, you can go to fanvil.com, which is our main website, and go under the support tab. In the support tab, you will actually see little different categories where you can download firmware, data sheets. We even have a section there for training videos. And on the training videos, a lot of our partners actually use that because very often, end clients say, how do you go ahead and do a transfer of a call? Something so basic that probably most people on this call will be able to do. But from the end client standpoint, you could just forward a YouTube video that we've already put in place and say, here you go. And they will automatically take a look at a 3-minute video to kind of show how you take an existing call and transfer it, whether it's attended or not attended. And we put together a lot of training videos, not only for end customers, but also for partners in being able to learn our technology. So I would suggest you go there and you might be able to do it. If it doesn't exist there, then I'll be more than happy to probably go through a screen share and show you how sort of this hot desking or sharing could take place to fit your specific requirements.
Awesome. It's very good. That's very good information to know. That way they will be able to get into the nitty-gritty of all of the technical aspects of each device that you offer.
Yes. Yeah, there's also a place on the support. You can actually see a whole menu of support items, dividing it by model, and you can get the user manual, quick information guide, tips, and everything like that. And then you could also, some of them, you can go to the training videos, do a quick search, and you might be able to find how to configure that specific phone. But given that VitalPBX has put together provisioning, if it's on there, that you could just click on the menu and it'll just do it automatically.
Perfect. Okay, so let's see if there are any last-minute questions. We are almost on the 1 hour mark. We're 90 minutes away. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, so let's see if there are any last-minute questions before we sign off. Just give them a few seconds, unless the question is a full novel.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, so in the meantime, just to give you a little bit more time if there are any last-minute questions. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating on the live event. The recording for this event should be available, as well with the other episodes that we have had. Should be available throughout this week on our YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/VitalPBX. And once again, if you would like to see a technical aspect and step-by-step guide on how to configure the phone provisioning module for VitalPBX, we do have a video on our YouTube channel as well, where we go ahead and show you exactly how to configure a phone directly from there and how the full process works.
Great. Again, thank you very much for your time as well. And again, if you need me, just think of Tommy Lee Jones and just think of the first two names at fanvil.com and you'll be able to reach me.
Perfect. So the final question that we will have for today would be, what distributors can we contact to purchase?
We cater on all of the major ones for USA. We have 4. We actually have NTS Direct, VoIP Supply, ABP Technologies, and there was one more. Gosh, I forgot that other person. I'll have to. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
this is my senior moment. I'm sorry.
No problem. In any case, they would be able to contact you directly, and you will be able to guide them to the best distributors on their region. So they will be able to acquire the Fanvil devices. Okay, so that's everything for today. The last comment here is thanks, pura vida, pura vida, pura vida. Yes. Hello to all the way to Costa Rica. So let's give once again a round of applause to Mr. Tommy Lee. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you taking this time to participate on this webinar series that we're having, and really appreciate all of the collaboration that we have had with you guys, and we will continue to have with you guys to add new devices, add more models to the phone provisioning system, and we truly appreciate you being part of this collaboration with VitalPBX.
Thank you.
All right, so for everyone, thank you all for coming. We will see you next time. Please stay tuned to our newsletter, our social media, our different communication channels for further updates on when new episodes for these series will come up. We will be handing out registrations as soon as possible, so you will be able to participate on upcoming webinars part of this series.
On the last distributor, I just remember, it's Flytech Computers. They're actually out of Miami, so that'll work.
No man left behind. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, then. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.